Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Good Enough Today podcast. I'm your host, Cheremma Lee, and I'm here to remind you all that the Good Enough Today podcast will be on break until January 8th. In the meantime, though, I'll be replaying former episodes that I hope will help you be intentional as you plan for next year and become the best version of yourself right now. Also, I want to thank you all for going along with this journey with me, and hopefully, we'll see great things coming in 2026. Happy holidays, everyone. And remember, even when life gets tough, and things get hard, you can remain hopeful for tomorrow, but you are absolutely 100% good enough today.
Hopeful for tomorrow, good enough today. Oh yeah, hopeful for tomorrow, good enough today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Good Enough Today, the podcast where we share stories from people who are showing up authentically every day in their spaces, even when life gets messy. I'm your host, Cheremma Lee, and today my guest is Shuronda Robinson, a community leader, an entrepreneur, a communications expert, a philanthropist, a mother, and if I shall say so myself, an amazing person. Shuronda.
Keep going. Keep going.
Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Good Enough Today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
I know. I'm so happy to see you and to be in the same space as you. And I know that my listeners know this. So we start every interview with a foundational question. On a scale from 1 to 10, how are you today physically, emotionally, and mentally? A scale from 1 to 10 on each category.
Physically, I think I'm like a 6.
Okay.
I've been traveling a lot, and it takes a lot, lugging luggage and moving through spaces. And so I need a massage
Yes.
and a chiropractic adjustment.
Yes, I am
So
with
after
you.
this, emotionally, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so physically a 6, emotionally, I would dare say I'm like a 9.5.
What?
Yeah,
I'm loving that. I'm loving that.
and there's a whole practice around that.
Oh, I'm gonna ask you about it. Don't
Yes,
you worry.
and then mentally, so I think mentally there's a lot of transition happening for me, and so I try not to get too wrapped around the axle about it or too concerned, but it does, like, my mind is always going, y'all. Like, seriously. I don't know if anybody else is like, my mind does not stop. And so I think mentally I'm probably a 7, 7.5.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know what? Those numbers are pretty good. I always tell
Okay.
people if I hear you say a 5, I need to inquire a little bit. What's
Yes.
going on with the 5? And are we trending up or are we trending down?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so before we get into how you keep your emotional state at such a high level, what is bringing you strength right now?
I have an amazing group of girlfriends. And last night we actually celebrated together. This group came together organically, but also accidentally, as a group of women. And we celebrated 2 years of showing up for each other and being there for one another last night. And so I was reading the text thread this morning, and I was trying not to cry because, my makeup this morning, and felt so good. So just having a group of people that can support, and not in overt ways, but just a smile, like a text, a meme, showing up for each other at our events and the things that we do. So
That's
yeah.
interesting. That's interesting. I'm going to ask a question about that because I think that, especially for me, I discount how impactful the people around you can be. And I don't know if it's because I'm an introvert or because I'm like, I do not like people, right? I actually do like people, but just in small doses, right?
Right.
And so how did you come to know that having these people around you is something that actually gives you strength and helps you to move forward?
I know that there are a lot of people who have a deeper knowledge of this than I do, and are able to explain it better. My body knows.
Okay.
Like, when I'm around people that are good for me, my body sends me a signal. I'm relaxed. I'm happier. Like, my body just responds differently when I'm around people who we're not on the same wavelength
Mhm.
or, there's friction or conflict, then like literally I was on a call this week. I had a headache.
Mhm.
Like 4 minutes in, I was like, "Oh my goodness." And I was feeling fine before,
Uh-huh.
and it was a tough conversation.
Mhm.
But I think that listening to your body will signal to you like how you're experiencing other people.
And
Yeah.
that's interesting because I heard someone say before that your body will let you know before your mind
Yes.
knows.
Yeah.
And I feel like I probably discount how much my
Mm.
body's telling me, and you just keep kind of pushing through. So when did you learn to hey, I need to listen to this?
Ooh, this week? I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I think so my belief
Mhm.
is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so we have this electromagnetic system,
Okay.
right? That gives us signals. It processes food. It manages hormones. Like this is an amazing, amazing system. And so why wouldn't it support us in terms of what we choose to do in our lives? Why wouldn't it also signal? I get a signal when I'm hungry. I get a signal when I'm tired. Like, my body
So
tells me.
true.
So why wouldn't it also give me information about how I'm navigating through life?
Yeah. I wonder if when we're younger, we learn to turn that off.
Yeah.
Because I feel like kids know, right?
Yeah.
And they just let you know all out. And sometimes
They are so rude.
yes. They are like, no. Like, I'm done with this.
They
and
won't
I'm-
hug you. Like
Yes.
you walk up to your
Yes.
family, hug the baby, and
No, get away from me. Everything about you
Yeah.
right now is turning me off. And we learn that that's rude, right? And so I'm like, in an adult space, right?
Yeah.
What do you do when your body says, no, you're not
Mm.
today?
Yeah, I think we're here to bless ourselves and other people,
Mhm.
right? So I just send silent blessings. Just like I do it when I'm at the stoplight and people are crossing the path. I just believe that we're here even when we don't like a person
Mhm.
or don't feel comfortable in the situation that we're in.
Mhm.
We can still be a beneficial presence in that situation and not make it about them
Mhm.
because then we give our power away.
Oh my goodness. See
Yeah.
now, Shuronda, you're about to teach me all the things today. This
Let's
is why
do it.
this is why I'm loving this because I feel like we get so caught up in the world and the things and I feel like and people who don't know you would not understand the light you are to other people. And I appreciate that light. And I just wonder first, I think that you recognize that you have this light. When did you recognize that you were a light for other people? And then how do you harness that so that you can also be a light for yourself?
These are deep questions. I don't think there was a time that I didn't know,
Okay.
right? I think that there were a lot of spaces and places where it wasn't accepted
Mm-hmm.
or acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there was ever a time when I didn't know that I am a child of God.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that nurtured in me through different experiences in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to, even through the trauma, even through the really hard times, I was able to hold on to that. And then as an adult, I've done a lot of therapy because I remember, in the Christian tradition, they say like your soul cries out.
Yes.
And I was in this experience and I could feel my soul crying out.
Mm-hmm.
And my question was to the universe. And at the time I had a concept of God as like out there, right?
Yes.
Sitting on a throne, judging
yes.
and
With the whip, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And passing judgment and determining whether or not I was good or bad. And I had to let that relationship go.
Right.
But I remember my soul crying out and asking God, there's got to be more to life than pain. Like, is there more to life than pain?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer was absolutely yes. But up until that point, I
Mhm.
hadn't been interested in it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's very interesting because I think that usually how I come to that point is exactly when you're saying when you're at your lowest. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, God, this is break. Like they say, God's not going to put more on you than you can bear. And you're like,
Ooh, I
no,
don't know.
like God, who determined?
Too much.
Yes, I
Too
feel
much.
like we're at the level at which you should stop right now, right? Like, when are we going to stop going?
Right.
And I think that usually that's when you ask God the question, like, okay,
Yeah.
how do I keep going right now? What, this can't be it. I know this is, if you are who I think you are and what I have become to believe, there has to be more. How do I get to more? And so I've been trying to put a concept or a word to this or a feeling to this that keeps you going when there, I don't want to say there is no hope, but hope looks real bleak.
Yeah.
You know, so in those moments for you, how did you keep going?
Ooh. So I will tell you that there was a time in my life when I couldn't get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would get up in the morning, I would take my kid to school, and then I would get back in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
I had a client call me every day and say, "Are you going to do any work today?" And I would say, "No, I don't think so."
Mm-hmm.
But that person, see, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't mean to make you cry.
I know. Oh my goodness. You never know what gift you're giving someone,
Mm-hmm.
just by picking up the phone and asking a question.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew what he was doing. I mean, he recognized that I was depressed.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what that meant at the time because Black women, we're not
I'm
depressed.
not. No,
We're not sad. We're powerful and strong and capable. And
independent.
all of those things.
I'm gonna
right?
get it done.
And so I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what I was dealing with. And he called every day for about a month. Are you going to do any work today? I go, no. And it gave me a lifeline
Yes.
to there was something else outside of this. And even though I knew that I was deeply troubled, like there was something really, really wrong
Mm-hmm.
with me, I didn't have the language. I didn't have the understanding. I didn't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, those phone calls represented hope.
Mm-hmm.
As I began to do my own internal work and look at my own internal landscape and how I had designed my life up until that point, I began to recognize that laughter is hope, that music is hope, that dance is hope, that being in nature is hope. And that if I couldn't somehow like manufacture it in myself, that I could look outside of myself and find it, and then it would remind me
Yes.
of who I am.
Oh my goodness. There's so many things in what you've just said. One is finding those small things. Like, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's the smallest things are the only thing that I have to be, I don't want to say have to be grateful because I'm grateful I'm alive. I'm grateful these things. But it's like, you know what? That makes me happy. And one of the things that, and this is going to sound so crazy, but I like it when my legs are smooth and they touch sheets, right? Or like, if I had, you know what I mean? If I can't do anything, I'm going to shave my legs and I'm going to get in the bed.
That's right.
And I'm going to be happy that my legs feel smooth against this sheet.
Yes.
And I feel like sometimes all you have is your legs on the sheet.
Yeah.
And I wonder, as you're talking about finding that language, and I'm still working on this to this day, is like finding that language and not feeling so guilty about telling someone, this is where I am. And how did you navigate that space?
Well, originally very clumsily, right? And I probably offended a lot of people. Sorry. Because for me, when I was moving through this low self-esteem and low self-worth, I had to create boundaries and perimeters, right? I had to create standards because I didn't know how to speak up for myself. And so like coming out the gate, I was like, no, and this.
You got to go 100%.
Right, I was going hard with it, like never again. And then as I started learning and practicing what I was learning, I wanted to teach everybody, right?
Yeah.
Unasked,
Yes.
right?
This is how.
Unsolicited advice.
Oh my gosh, my family will probably tell you this is me every day.
Just ridiculous. So I'm so grateful for the people who are still in my life who've got patience with me through all of this. But I think that when you are on a healing journey, right, which is really just remembering your own power, your own truth, journaling is a beautiful way to have those conversations with yourself. I had a coach that I had the awesome opportunity to work with for about 20 years. And she was a leadership coach. She was, but the way that she coached was from spiritual or universal principles. And so what I'm saying to you works for anybody, right? It's not just a one size fit all. It
Yeah.
is a one size fit all, actually. So she would say to me, Shuronda, your conversation is with the universe.
Okay.
Your conversation is with the universe. I went to a workshop years later and another person said it differently. He said, live your life as if it's a prayer. It's a constant prayer. And so it helped me be more intentional about what I was sharing because it didn't matter if I was talking to you or to the CEO or to the child. My conversation, I was talking to God.
Oh.
Right. I was talking to the creator of all of these things. And so not to be careful and to be scared, right? That was an old religiosity practice that I had, but to be intentional about what is it that I want. Right?
Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay, so you said something. There are two things that I want to go into. One is this old religiosity concept of careful and scared, because I feel like if you grew up like me in a smaller Black church or just in a Black church, you got this concept of God seeing you as less than, and you're trying to live up to this standard, right? And to some degree, as confident as I am, my self-concept to some degree was still a lot smaller than I think that God wanted me to believe myself to be. And so, one, recognizing that, like, how do you recognize that? And then the other part of that is you mentioned like setting these boundaries, right? And then coming into, I think you've just embodied everything good enough today with all of this, just living your life as a prayer every day. And then showing up regardless of who you're speaking to in your space authentically, even when you're not your best, right? Like, how do you, one, find that with the religiosity thing? And then on the other turn, like, how do you just become comfortable in those spaces?
It's practice.
Okay.
Right? So everything that we're good at, like when we think about our school career, right? We came into school, most of us not knowing how to read or write. And then we practiced and we got better at it. I think it's the same for our spiritual journey or our faith work. It is a practice. And as you practice, you get better at it. And then you learn certain things. You learn that gratitude, right, supports having a good day, regardless of what's going on or not. Like you learn that surrender is a powerful way to approach conflict and to approach things that are disruptive. You learn that transition means growth, right? And so you begin to develop a different landscape. Like you're moving from, in the Christian tradition, they say, when you're a baby, you drink the milk, right? But as an adult, you can eat the meat. And so I think that is just a way of explaining that as we practice, as we grow stronger, we're able to do things differently. And so for me, what I'm practicing now is love is my boundary. And so instead of trying, that gave me goosebumps.
I told you are blessing me today.
So instead of making it about the other person and setting up a barrier, how do I show up in love? And sometimes it means, you know what? I love myself. I love you. That won't diminish because of whatever the situation is, but I can't be in this space, right? So it looks differently each time. And so I don't have a label for what love is. And I think that's what agape love means and unconditional love means. It's like, I love myself no matter what, right? And I want to be able to give that to other people.
Yes.
People are challenging.
Yes.
People can be hard.
Yes.
But then also people can be like the source of my greatest joy and understanding, and can teach me things about myself that I had blind spots to that I don't know exist, and can reaffirm who I am. So, at the end of the day, it's all love anyway.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that you mentioned the practicing,
Yeah.
right? Someone asked me the other day, are you ever going to stop going to therapy? And I was like, I think it looks different in every season, right? When I'm at my worst and feeling the worst, I might need to go to therapy weekly. And then when I'm not, though, and I'm feeling great, I might go once a month. It might be once a quarter. But I think that there is something to speaking to someone else and getting the things that you're telling yourself in your head out. Because I know that sometimes I tell myself some things, and once I say it to you, I'm like, no.
That don't sound right.
I thought I was smart. But that was
Or, wow, that was genius. Let me reaffirm that in you, right?
Yes, that's different. So you talked a little bit about therapy, and as a Black woman, as a person, and coming up, and I don't think that therapy was something that we do, right? What made you decide, maybe this will be helpful for me?
Well, when I first got to college, because when I was in my early years, like 4 or 5, like 4 to 13, I was molested, right? And and I told my parents, and they didn't deal with it in the way that made me feel safe, right? That made me feel loved and honored and protected.
Yep.
As a child. And so I was traumatized by that. And I shaped my identity about myself based on those experiences, right? And even though I had had this really wonderful life and had people around me who loved me, the traumas, and particularly physical, sexual traumas, are like in your body.
Yes.
And so I went to therapy and I started having gynecological problems, right? And it makes sense.
Yes.
Now I
shows
know.
up, right.
And I had like a cyst on my ovaries, and I had surgery when I was a freshman in college, and there was a medical doctor at the university who was incredible. And he said, you probably want to go talk to somebody. And I didn't share with him the trauma, but I guess there was something about him that he knew. He was a healing, caring physician. And so I told my mother that I was going to therapy, and no shade on my mother.
I get it.
Right? Because as a Black woman, we also deal with systems of oppression.
Yes.
And systems that use our pain to undermine us. And so I understood where she was coming from. It's like, you don't need to go talk to those people.
Yes.
Because it might impact your academic record. It might impact your, right?
Yes.
There was a threat in that.
Yes, there is a fear and a genuine concern for your well-being.
That's right. That's right. And so it was confusing. I was like, well, my other friends, like, have therapists. They go do therapy. They talk about it openly, but I can't. So I struggled with that for a while until I hit a point where I was in the bed and I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
And I started reading self-help books. I started studying. I started taking workshops. I was like a sponge.
Yeah.
And, and then I did therapy straight for 7 years.
Yeah.
Like every other week. And it was one of the most empowering experiences because I got to make connections. I got to see, oh, this belief, this habit, this pattern results in this. And so it was a study of myself. And another one of my coaches says that the content of your life is the curriculum of your life.
Yes.
And so now I understand that those childhood experiences that were traumatic were here to serve me. Right?
Oh, that's so interesting because I tried to, you hear like, this is a lesson for you to and I'm always like, keep this lesson. I keep it.
No more.
Whatever the lesson is,
Right.
I don't need to learn it.
Right.
Actually, I'm over this,
Right.
right? And so I think that it's easier, to be retrospective, right? Let me look back and see that. But in the moment, oh no, I don't want it. And I think it's interesting that we talk about these connections because actually when you walked in today, I said, hey, I'm trying to figure out this podcast thing and I can't figure it out and I want it to look like this. And you said, well, you're messing up and you're not feeling good about it because somebody told you were stupid when you make the mistake. And I was like, yeah. And now I'm still trying to figure out, but that's a connection, right? It is a connection to, or as I talk about shining my light. And when I was in elementary school, one of my teachers said, hey, you know what? You're really smart. You're winning all these awards. How about you give this award to one of these other people? And so what I put together, and I just realized this like this year sometime.
So good.
What I put together was that me being smart and being better than other people was a bad thing, and that I needed to try to make other people shine
That's right.
instead of allowing myself to shine, because that's what I should do to be a good person. And I did not recognize it. This whole time, I'm
That's
like,
deep, Cheremma.
Listen, I'm over here like, I just want to be in the background, right? I just want to be in the background. And I was like, but what if that's not what God wants me to do? And I've been living my life in this way because of this. So when we talk about making these connections, right? I don't think that people who aren't doing the work understand how powerful those connections can be. And so when you think about connections, and are you able to make them better or quicker now?
Yeah. I know I know that I'm an infinite being, like created in the image and likeness of love. And so I'm not arrogant in the way that I was as I started on my journey, where I was like, I know myself and I know what I... Girl, please. Right? Like stuff would come at me and be like, whoa, I didn't know that. But I do think that I have begun to recognize patterns, right? And how I show up and those themes that I love your story. Like I decided at a young age that the world wasn't safe.
Yes.
And then I lived from that place for 20, 30, 40 years, right?
Yeah.
And until I examined it, I was like, is the world not safe or was I not safe in that experience?
Yes. And then how did that shape your perspective of the world?
Yeah.
Because I think that once you become aware, then you're like, no, wait a minute. And I think it allows you to examine to some degree, is this something that is useful for me now? Right? This doesn't serve me. I don't like this because
Well, let me tell you why it's hard,
Okay.
though, right? Because a lot of times we get into these conversations, and I want people to really understand that it is a day-by-day, moment-by-moment awareness and practice, right? And so we live in a universe, this is my understanding, and so take from it what you will, but we live in a universe that's governed by the law of attraction. And so, and in the Christian tradition, the way that it's described is, it is done unto you as you believe, right? And so whatever I'm thinking, whether I'm conscious of it or not, so I made the decision when I was 4, 5, 6 years old that the world wasn't safe, right? That was a choice that I made. And so everything in my life then had to line up with that and I had to keep proving it to myself, right? And so that's called momentum.
Okay.
And so, and the beautiful thing about momentum is it works any way we work it, right? I can have momentum in a world that's unsafe, right? Or I can have momentum in a world that's safe, where I can literally be in a space and there's all this drama happening around me, but it doesn't touch me because my world is safe.
Yes.
Right. And that's what I mean by practice.
Yeah.
And so it is when we shape those beliefs, particularly those like inner younger child beliefs, they create what we call their own center of gravity. And they pull into it whatever is like that. And so breaking through, like when we know this from what we've learned from our astronauts and our scientists, like breaking through that layer to get to outer space, you spend most of your energy. Like when you launch a rocket,
Yes. Okay.
what is it? 90% of the energy is spent
Just getting out.
just getting out. And then the other, it's just two degree shifts, 2%, you don't use as much energy.
Yes.
And so that's why it feels so hard at times, because we have so much momentum in the direction of being unsafe, being scared, being poor, being not worthy, like all the things. And breaking through that is what the practice is about.
Okay, so this is so interesting to me because my fear is always that I'm missing out on the people who are feeling at the bottom, who are in the moment where they can't get out of bed, right? Because this is what happens when I speak to people. They're like, Cheremma, and I do this to you, Shuronda, I want to be like you, right? And they're like, Cheremma, I wish I had what you have. And the thing is I'm like, I don't think I have anything special. I just decided one day that this is not, I cannot live it like this. This will not, I just cannot do it this way. And I started to make little changes. But I wonder, for the person who was in it, right? Who can't get out of bed, who is working every day and can't pay the bills and who's just trying to make it day by day, where I've been in probably every one of these positions, right? What is it? How do we say to them that you're making a choice, right? You can make a choice. Because if you told me that when it's gonna sound different than
What you talking about?
Exactly.
This is the truth.
Yes.
Right? I've lived this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so what do we say to those people who are in that space right now and are like, you telling me I'm making a choice, but I'm just surviving right now.
Yeah.
And this is what it takes.
So what I learned very early on, I think I mentioned, like, as I started to study and, do my work, I would tell everybody, oh, you should think like this, or you should believe this, or you should do this, right? And it never worked. It would just piss people off.
Yes.
Because they're not there yet. They're not ready to receive. And so I had to reposition myself in terms of what I was here to do and how I was going to show up in other people's lives.
Oh.
And now I wait for the question.
Ooh.
Because I know when there's a question, there's an opening. Right. And so in the meantime, like until the question happens, I am studying, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm doing all the things that I need to so I can be ready for the question.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to make them ready for the change. Yeah, because it's that it's disruptive. Like they're not there yet. So what you can do is pray. What you can do is send blessings. What you can do is visualize and imagine them at their best, right? Because we're always communicating. We're always sending the vibration. Like if I came in here with a bad attitude, you would know it before I open my mouth because that's the vibe I'm in. And we pick up on it. We feed off of that. And so you don't necessarily have to go around and spread your light and make sure everybody knows this is the way to do it because that might not be the way for them. But you can pray for them.
I like that because I tell people to control what you can control, but then I feel bad when I can't actually be helpful.
Yeah.
Like, what do you need? I know this, I know that resource, I know this. And I think that what you said is that sometimes just sitting back and being available when the moment arises, because
I've been in a space when I wasn't ready to receive the information. I've had mentors who, but I've gone back to them and like, no, you told me this 5 years ago. Why didn't you like slap me with
Right,
it? And then
right.
like you just weren't ready.
That's
It's
right.
like you have the patience of a saint.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would have been like, no, you need to know this. And I feel like that's part of the growth, right? Is to figure out, hey, this is where I am. And I'm not, sometimes I can tell you, I'm not ready to receive that yet. Like that sounds like it's a great concept. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that's gonna be helpful. I'm just not ready yet.
Yeah.
Give me a little time to get there, and we're gonna circle back on that.
Yeah.
one. So now though, you've got all this practice going,
Mm-hmm.
and you know who you are. What is hard for you right now?
What's hard for me right now is stepping out,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I will say for my life, like
Mm-hmm.
a much bigger way.
Mm-hmm.
And I wake up inspired. And there's so many ideas and so many things I could do. And it's like, ooh, do I go here? Do I go here? Do I go here? And so like picking something and working that,
Yeah.
and being okay with ideas that are coming in and saying, okay, I'm gonna work on this a year from now,
Mm-hmm.
instead of trying to do everything all at once.
Yes.
And so I think that's hard for me now. And then also, the woman that I mentioned, like the coach that I worked with for 20 years, we became really, really close.
Mm-hmm.
And she passed away 2 years ago.
Oh.
And we would talk every day. Sometimes, like you talk about coaching, I was coached sometimes 8 hours a day, it felt like, right? I'd call and say, this is happening. What do I do? Or this is going on. I said this. And she passed away 2 years ago. And it has been really hard to lose someone who has helped to shape my understanding of myself.
Right.
And not be there, not have the daily conversations. We would travel together, we spent time together. And so through the grieving process, I felt abandoned. I was angry, and I was talking to God the other day. I was like, why did you let that happen? And struggling with that piece, because that was my one friend. Because you mentioned earlier, like, I am an introvert. Trust me. Like, I like one-on-one.
Yes.
Let's do it. And even though I'm in big rooms and I'm speaking and that sort of thing, right? I do get a lot of energy from that. But sometimes I'm like, okay, everybody just close the door. I'm just gonna go on my little
Let me recharge.
just need a minute. And so what it has, I'll say forced me to do is to develop relationships, because that was my person. And that's been hard.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you get to know somebody over that period of time, the level of the depth and the intimacy, and we had business relationship, coaching relationship, like mother-daughter relationship, it was very complex.
Yes.
She introduced me to meditation.
Ooh.
And so, she's a gift.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy.
Yes.
And I'm like,
like you just
and now I have to go be friends with other people.
And then you got to start all over.
Yeah.
You got to, like, I don't want to have to tell you this. Like, I don't want to have to go through this to get here. Like, if with the conversation with her, you would start, at like minute 15 already, because you don't have to give her the filler. You can be like, you know what I did today? And she's like, oh, because you, okay.
She could hear it in my voice when we got on the phone.
And it's like, okay, you're tripping a little bit today, And so she didn't have to go. You didn't have to go into all the other stuff.
Right.
So building these new relationships, oh my gosh,
it's hard.
And how? Like, what am I supposed to do right now? Like, where are you gonna meet a person that you that is a sincere person?
Yes.
That has your best interest at heart.
Yes.
who will not take it personally when you are just being you at your worst. And then someone who also is willing to walk in that space with you as you're at your worst, right? And then transition into being your best at times so that you can kind of lean on each other. Where do you find those people?
Yeah. Well, I have. I mean, I'm so grateful. The ladies that I mentioned that we
So
were
how'd you
celebrating.
find them, Shuronda?
God sent them.
Oh, so we need to pray about it.
I think so, and they had been in my life over time, right? But I had Joya. And so I didn't invest the time and energy in the way that I did with her, right? And so it's been, oh my goodness, I'm just recognizing it's been 2 years. We celebrated 2 years.
Yeah.
Joya probably set it up on the other side. I don't know.
Probably
She
did.
probably
She was
did.
like,
Thank you, Joya.
She needs these.
That's right. But what I know and what I learned through that relationship was how to be in divine friendship. And I think that's a different approach to friendship where we are accountable not only to each other's emotional and intellectual growth, but also our deepening of our faith and our practice. And so 2 of the women are pastors. So they have a deep and abiding faith. We're all CEOs. Another woman's husband is a pastor. And so there's this really strong tradition around prayer and around believing that I think all of us need. But to have it in 5 other women is really powerful. And we're all business women. We all lead organizations. We all have, the challenges of leading an organization and having a vision and holding people accountable. And so we align on that. And so this idea that I was able to experience with Joya around divine friendship, I get to bring into this space.
That's awesome.
And it's really beautiful. And I get to explore what it means to be a sister. Because I have a sister and she's amazing and I love her so much. She's 10 years younger than me. And so there's a gap there. But I get to be a sister with these other women, and it's made me a better sister with her as well. Yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. And I think that especially because I try to strip people of their titles, right? Because what I want is for people to see Shuronda, right? I want them to see who you are because, and what I'm about to talk about is your business, right? It's why I'm transitioning this way. But I think that it's important because I feel like to some degree, especially now, we have dehumanized people in leadership. And I think that, and we're not going to get political here, just in general. And I feel like we dehumanized our pastors. We dehumanize our doctors, right? And there is a human experience that comes along with leadership. And so when we talk about you showing up as Shuronda, right? Shuronda, the leader, how do you, when you feel like you're at 30%, right? And you have to show up and be this person, how do you do that? And how do you get energy to keep moving forward in that space?
That's such a good question. I think what the difference between a person and a leader, right, is vision, right? And a leader always has a vision for where we're going and what we're going to do. And the vision in and of itself is what generates the energy, right? And so for me, I rely on the vision to like recharge me, to remind me. I'm also authentic with my team. I'm like, guys, and usually I'm hungry. Like, guys, I'm hungry. Let's make this short.
Yes.
I don't have, I might be short with you because this is hangry CEO.
Oh my gosh. I think we need to pause and talk about just for a second how important it is to eat because if I am tired and hungry, like I can be tired.
Yeah.
But if I'm hungry too,
it's all bets are off.
Yes. The person that I am It's not what God made me to be. I promise.
I 1000% agree with that. So yeah, and what has helped me is there's some amazing like meal delivery services. And so one of my friends turned me on to him, and now I get a box delivered every Saturday.
We're gonna have to
And
talk about that because I'm
it
gonna
has
need to,
changed my life.
Lord, because I know that I'm like I can be a better person, but I need to eat. And I'm over here eating an orange. That's not gonna do it. That grapefruit is not gonna do it,
It's
Cheremma.
not cutting it.
It's
It's not cutting it.
That's not it. And you're really, I'm really
Got
trying
to
to
increase the caloric intake.
Yes, I'm over here trying to be a light in people's lives, and I'm feeling real dark right now because I'm hungry. And so,
Yeah,
you
hangry
know,
is a thing.
it is a real thing. So everybody eat food.
That's right.
Make sure you're eating and giving your body nutrients. Okay, so I'm sorry. Back
That's okay.
to
That's okay.
you with your team and showing up authentically. And you were saying that you show up and you tell them, hey, right now this is where I'm at, and let's do that. How does that? I feel like that makes your team personize you or humanize you a little.
Right. Well, we moved from expectation to agreement
Ooh,
a
okay.
couple of years ago
Mhm.
because I recognize that a lot of times in organizations, and it's deeply embedded in the culture, and you'll hear people say that, well, you're working here, I expect you to know this, or I expect you to be able to do this, or I expect that, right? And what I realize is that dehumanizes the leader and the team member because usually those expectations are not exactly clear. Right. And they're based on, and when you bring in like the childhood stuff, right? Everybody's bringing their children to work, their little babies to work. And so it just gets really confusing and it can be tough for people. And I believe that work is sacred. I believe that, there's a sacred design for it. It doesn't make sense to me that all of these random people would come together, right, for 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and it not be a sacred experience. And so I think we're real open in my organization about like where we are and how we're feeling about things. We have a practice called connection before content.
Okay.
Where we spend time connecting. Every Monday morning we get together, we have meditation together, and then we do stretching exercises. And so because I want to make sure that people's entire system is taken care of, like they're given challenging work. They work with great people, but also the emotional nature, that there's a place for that in the work that we do because we're all genius and we're all creative, and that has to be nurtured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That is, I could spend hours just asking you questions about how you developed into this person
Yeah.
and then how it leads to you being able to do this. But one thing that I'm always interested in, and this is because I'm not good at it, right? And I'll say I'm not good at it. It's something that I have to practice is being good at business. And it's because somewhere probably in my childhood somewhere, I've developed this idea that, my goal is to help people.
Yes.
And so I want to help people. That doesn't always translate into getting money, right? Like, that's not going to feed my soul and then not make me hungry, right? Like there has to be some way to monetize these things, these visions, right? And so how have you been able to say, you know what, this is a vision and put it into practice so that this becomes a business that is lucrative for you?
Sure. Well, business is about solving problems for people, right? And so you've got to be really interested in helping other people solve their problem. It could be, a great outfit for a podcast.
Yes.
That's a problem that needs to be solved. So who's solving it for me today? Who's helping me with that? It could be a technological problem. It could be a strategic problem. And so I think that's the first thing. I also know that a lot of times when we think about business, we're told, do what you love, follow your passion.
Yes.
No, honey, go make some money.
Yes.
You don't have to love it. But the resources that are generated and the relationships that, come as a result of that can feed that other part.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't believe that it has to be, I think that's an old model, if you will. But you want to identify problems you really like to solve, for people who have money.
That's my problem right there. Let's just break it down right
Okay.
here, Shuronda. I'm solving the problems for the people that don't have the money, right?
Yeah, well, stop.
Well,
Stop it.
That's
Let that be your gift
Yeah.
to the world.
And that's
Yeah.
where I'm like, but I feel guilty. I feel guilty.
Oh, because you don't feel worthy?
Yes. That's
Well,
where.
stop it.
Well, thank you, Shuronda. And
It's
now we've
just that
solved
easy.
it.
Stop it.
We have solved that problem for me. We're going to have to receive that.
Well, but it goes back to what I said earlier,
Mhm.
right? Like there's some momentum behind that.
Yeah.
And so it's not about undoing
Mm-hmm.
that. It's about creating a new vision for yourself.
Yeah. And
So who is Cheremma
yes.
worthy?
Right. And
Right? Who is Cheremma wealthy? Right. See, your soul,
Mm-hmm.
your God, your
Mhm.
divinity already knows those answers. But if you keep telling yourself, I don't know how to make money, I feel guilty, right? If you keep playing that tape, then those answers, you're not listening.
Okay, so now we got a real time. We got a real time transformation here
Yeah.
because it's a real thing. And
Mhm.
and I've had a friend say, "What is it with you and money? Like, what is it with you and money?" Because I'm like, I have actively put myself in positions where I'm like, okay, I'll have to just build it back up again. Like I will.
But don't you work at a bank?
Hey, listen, Shuronda.
Aren't you surrounded by money?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
So you're halfway there.
And so I think that part of that was when I started working for a bank, I
Mhm.
said, you know what? I kind of knew that I have this relationship,
Okay,
right?
okay.
And I was like, what I'm going to learn from these people.
This is gonna be good, y'all. Keep watching.
What I'm going to learn from these people is one, how they make money, right? And then what is that attitude around money?
Mhm.
And so that they can, because in my mind, if you have a lot of money, you're a bad person.
Yes.
Right. And I don't mean it as in like
I know
a
what you mean.
mean person, right?
Mhm.
I mean it as in like you think you're too good for people, you act like this. And what I have learned from these very wealthy people that I've been around is that's not true at all. But I think that when I grew up, the people who had money acted like that. And as I think about it, my parents are really good at putting us in spaces. And I don't know why I got the concept that people who had money acted like this, because the people that they put me around did not act like that. They have been some of the most helpful people. If I called and did this.
Yeah. So what I hear when you say that, and
Mhm.
this is gonna be helpful to so many people.
Absolutely.
Because like we have these notions and we don't even know where we got it
Mhm.
from. It's in the ether,
Okay.
right? There's this line of thinking
Mm-hmm.
that the love of, money is the root of all evil.
Yes.
Right? That's just out there. And
Mhm.
somehow we soak it up.
Mm-hmm.
We pick it up and we just go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, right?
Mhm.
And we didn't not agree to it because we didn't have a filter. Like
Yes.
as we're growing up, we don't have the ability to choose, like I'm not letting that in.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how we learn it. We just take it all in.
You absorb it. Mm-hmm.
We absolutely absorb it. And also, I would say, as a Black person,
Mm-hmm.
right, there is a fear of money because in this world, in this country, anytime Black people got ahead, we were massacred, we were murdered.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a narrative that when you have money, you think you're too good
Yes.
for somebody else.
Yes.
And so we don't want to die.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Real talk.
Absolutely.
We don't want to alienate ourselves from the
Mhm.
people that we love.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want to be bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, you can't make any money
Yes.
in that way. Absolutely. This is so good.
Yeah.
And so instead of trying to change all that
Mm-hmm.
or fight against it,
Mm-hmm.
you just say, okay, who am I wealthy? Who am I happy?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I abundant?
Mm-hmm.
And you begin to define that picture for yourself. And then when those feelings and those thoughts and those old stories and those old narratives come up, now you have a counter narrative.
Mm-hmm.
You have a counter story, and a positive thought is more powerful than a negative thought.
That's amazing because and to be fair to myself, so I can say this,
Yes.
is that I have been actively working on this.
Yeah.
So this is one of those things where I can't remember the book, and this is gonna be horrible for me to quote it and not know. You guys will learn that I quote things improperly sometimes.
Go for
But
it.
there is this abundant success and love every day. I
Yeah.
and I
Is that the big leap?
It is the big.
Yes.
See, this is why we need people like Shuronda, because there are people like Cheremma who will say, and you know that it
I
is a
studied with Gay
success.
Hendricks.
Oh, okay. See, this is why. This is why we are.
He's magnificent. Yeah.
And I think, it's the ultimate success mantra, right?
Mhm.
And I think that there is something to this, is telling yourself, right, that I expand in abundant success and love every day, and as I inspire others to do the same, right? And so
That's so good.
I am actively working on
Yep.
this because there are two parts to this, right? One, I know that if I keep living small, I'm not going to live out the purpose that God expects me to live out, right?
Mhm.
And I would be doing a disservice to myself and to God if I didn't
Mhm.
try.
Mhm.
And that's just me.
But you don't have to try
Mhm.
to serve God, right?
This is true.
Yeah, like I think we then make it work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there is also in the Christian tradition, speaking of quoting it wrong, I'm going to get this wrong, but like the lilies of the field and the
Mhm.
sparrows, don't worry.
Yes. Yes. They're just out here living their purpose.
That's right. And so the vision that you create for yourself
Mhm.
is what informs
Mm-hmm.
what abundance looks like to you. And it's going to be different for everyone.
Mhm. And okay, so this is interesting
Mhm.
because I'm trying to respect your time here, so I'm
Sure.
gonna let you go. But I think it's interesting because I feel like sometimes we think that the vision is so far off, right?
Mhm.
That can't be true for me because the process is the part that we don't like, right? And so, but I think there's importance in seeing the vision and just knowing and believing it
Right.
to be true.
Well, and in the big leap,
Mm-hmm.
right? Gay Hendricks talks about 5 minutes a day
Mm-hmm.
in your zone of genius.
Yes.
And so you don't have to believe the vision 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
You can just believe it for 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then next week, believe it for 2 minutes.
Mhm.
And then the following week, believe it for 3 minutes. And then the following week, believe it for 4 minutes. And law of attraction, universe, momentum,
Yes.
right? It then begins to manifest in your life. And it may manifest as someone taking you out to lunch.
Mm-hmm.
It may manifest in a promotion. It may manifest in an inheritance check, right? It may manifest in whatever, like, a discount of some
Yes.
sort. It will begin to manifest in different ways. And often what we don't do
Mm-hmm.
is we don't celebrate the small manifestation,
Yes.
right? And in order to charge that and
Momentum.
bring that
Keep it-
momentum.
Yes.
And so, yeah, the vision may be quote unquote out there,
Mhm.
but it is happening now.
Yeah.
And when we're listening, when we're alert, when we're aware, then we recognize it and we go, oh yes, right? Like this podcast for me, I'm like, oh yes, it's happening for me, right? I'm on a podcast.
Yes.
Like my voice is out there. People are going to see this that I will never meet.
Yes.
But I get to connect with,
Mhm.
right? And I get to serve in that way.
Mhm.
And so celebrate that. Celebrate the small things, and hold that vision for 5 minutes a day. You
No,
will
that's
be
awesome.
amazed at how quickly.
That is amazing. That is amazing because I think that, like I said, especially when you're in the lowest parts of your life and you feel like there is no hope, I think that is the hope, right? That it's gonna be better, right? I can see it, I can feel it. And I'm gonna ask you 2 questions, and then we're going to exit. The first question is, um, what does good enough mean for you right now?
Mm. That is such a powerful question. What does good enough mean for me right now? I think it means just feeling this power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And knowing that I'm good,
Mm-hmm.
right? That nothing has to happen or not happen. I'm good.
In this space right now, I am good. Okay, and then if you were to talk to the person who's at their lowest point right now, what would you say to them?
Mm. Hello. I want you to know that this is just what it looks like on the way to where you're going. And that the pain, the struggle, the betrayal, the hurt, the fear that you're feeling, that you get to embrace that in such a beautiful way and use this as part of the fuel for your journey. And that you don't have to be perfect and it doesn't have to be right, but the love that you are and the love that you seek, the power that you seek, the power that you are, it exists inside you. And so just take it in, take a deep breath and just feel and know that. And I love you.
And see, this is why. This is why I love Shuronda, because her light is amazing. I hope that you know, I think you do, but every time I am with you, your light shines brighter. And I feel like it is a blessing to me and the people around you. So I want to thank you for coming and spending time with me today, and not only blessing me, but being willing to bless other people with your gifts, because I think it's so important in this world. And I appreciate it sincerely from the bottom of my heart. And I think that our listeners would love to connect with you in some ways. How could they connect with you in the future?
Thank you for having me. This has been wonderful. I'm on Instagram and TikTok, ShurondaEverything.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. So Shuronda Robinson or Shuronda Everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shuronda. And of course, we want you guys to remember to stay hopeful for tomorrow, but understand that you are absolutely, absolutely good enough today.
Hopeful for tomorrow, good enough today. Oh yeah, hopeful for tomorrow, good enough today.